Hello guys, welcome back to another video on the Stratus Forecast Weather Channel. Today we're going to be going over the latest severe weather threat for portions of Louisiana and far eastern Texas, and it extends up into the southern plains, the central plains, and into the southeast as well. We're going to be primarily focusing on the tornado threat today, along with the wind threat as well. And I believe there's also a little bit of a hail threat as well. We also will be taking a look at the threat for the next couple of days. It looks to be significantly lower the next 2 days. But tonight will be the major threat. We're going to be looking between this afternoon, later this evening, and into the overnight and tomorrow in the early morning hours, and they will continue on probably for the next 2 days with minor threats. So first off, we're going to take a look at the tornado threat currently, or actually we'll just go over the basic threats currently right now. So currently we're dealing with a slight risk of severe weather that extends into southern Louisiana and into portions of eastern Texas. There's that slight risk, and then there's a big marginal risk that goes up into the southern plains and all the way back down into eastern Texas. And then there's just this wide general area of your normal thunderstorms, but still can't rule out an isolated severe thunderstorm, especially when you're under these conditions, even in these areas. So there's that. Next, we're going to be going over the tornado threat, because that's the primary threat for tonight, I really do think. So the tornado threat currently, the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, has portions of Louisiana and Texas under a 5% risk, which is a slightly elevated risk, but it's not enough to cause a full-on tornado outbreak. Then we have a large 2% risk that crosses areas through Oklahoma. A lot of these areas in these other states, including Alabama as well, or whatever that state is called. I believe it's Alabama. Then this area, there's another 2% risk in between these 3 states as well. But I really think the main focus is going to be this 5% area. And then we also have a little bit of a wind threat. It's slightly elevated as well, so wind would be probably a big threat as well. And that is going to cover basically the same areas, and that 15% risk will cover that same area, and the 5% area is slightly bigger. Again, right in this area is where we're watching for the most of tornado threats and wind threats. And there's currently no hail threat. I thought there was, but apparently there's not. So next we're going to be taking a look at the current radar and satellite imagery, so we can have a general idea of what is going on right now. Alright, so here we are right now. This is basically what we're watching for right now, these scattered showers and thunderstorms covering a large chunk of Texas and parts of Louisiana. This will eventually make it to this way, and what we're going to watch for is this area down here. That's also going to be parts of the remnants, or I think so, the remnants of Tropical Depression Sarah. So currently, as we take a look at the radar play, you can see all the storms are moving from southwest to northeast very slowly at the moment. Now we're going to take a look at the current satellite imagery. So here's the infrared imagery currently right now. As you can see, there's right here is where we're looking at thunderstorms, these higher elevated clouds, and we'll play through it again. So there's that. Now we're going to go on straight into the severe weather and the future radar. Alright, so here we are in the future radar. So right now we're basically looking at storms firing up or this line of thunderstorms currently in the central part of Texas right now. These will eventually move their way this way, and we're going to be watching for this area right here for any tornado activity. So we're going to play you through the radar. As you can see, it marches off, and then we're going to watch for, again, any of the supercells that can develop in front of this system is what have the best chance of producing tornadoes. So here we go, any of those supercell thunderstorms right there, and then it marches off to the east, and there's the end of that. So I'm going to keep that marked right there so we can basically take a look at it. So next I want to look at is the shear that's going to be available with this system. So I'm going to mark it up right there. So there comes that shear, enough to produce tornadoes. There you go, right in here, right there. Now we're going to take a look at the energy available to make sure we have enough energy. And yep, there's plenty of energy available there for any isolated tornadoes or brief tornadoes or just tornadoes in general. And then what we're going to look at next is the supercell composite. So let's see, and then there it goes across, and it looks pretty good to me. And then it goes off to the east. Again, we're watching for this marked area right here. Significant tornado perimeter. Again, this pink highlighted area I think is really the best chance to see our tornadoes. We could see a few tornadoes out of this. It's very possible. And next I'm going to go straight into look at the temperatures. So here the temperatures currently, we're sitting in the 70s and closer to 80 in the southern parts of Texas. Notice it's quite cooler in the Louisiana area with only 60s happening. So I want to see what happens in this area right here as these temperatures continue to go. So I'm going to march you through. This goes through later tonight into tomorrow morning, and those temperatures start to rise ahead of the front 70s. That's very not good news for tornadoes, but it is, well, I should say it's good for tornadoes, but not good for people, I should say, because tornadoes are quite destructive and they take many lives. So there it goes right there. And then we're going to take a look at the dew point. So dew points are currently sitting in the 60s. There's some dew points sitting in the 70s over here, which is very humid. And then those dew points really rise into the 70s, and that's where we expect the tornadoes, or at least I do. And then we'll march that all the way to give you a general idea. And then there goes that front, and then much more dry air coming down from the northwest. 30s is very dry air coming down here. Next, what we want to take a look at is the relative humidity. So we're going to see what happens. Those humidity dew points come in there. That humidity right there, looking good. Alright, next, lightning flash density to give you a good idea of where you could see the most lightning. So yeah, it looks much more organized than it did last night, as you can see there. Some reds in there. Next, what we want to look at is the significant tornado perimeter, just to give you a general idea of where the most tornadoes are going to occur. So I'm thinking right into around midnight, right in here, as these move off to the east. So we'll give you one more idea of where you can see the tornadoes. Again, we're going to be primarily focusing on this area right here, because I think this is where you're going to see the most tornadoes, honestly. So there come. Oh, let me start back here. Here comes that line. Any of these supercell thunderstorms that can develop in front of it will be the best chance, and you can see some of these thunderstorms have a hook shape to it, and then it moves off to the east. Alright, next we're going to take a look at the next threat for the next couple of days. So let's pull out so the next threat is for this area and then up in here. So there it goes, marches off, then you get that secondary threat, and then the third threat right there with those extra thunderstorms that come through just like that. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure to have a tornado action plan in place just in case if there does happen to be a few tornadoes. There was at least one tornado confirmed last night in the Oklahoma area. It was not a very significant tornado, but it did drop on the ground. So you guys definitely want to make sure if you are in the Louisiana area today or anywhere in the marginal and slight risk that you are aware of this ongoing severe weather threat, and make sure you have a tornado action in place, whether that's the lowest point in your home, whether that's your basement, your bathroom, or even a tornado shelter, or even in the ditch if that's really necessary, if you're not near any sort of houses or any stores or anything. But that's really all I have. But I really do think tonight it's going to be the major tornado. The tornado threat is going to be the most significant, along with the wind threat. So again, like I said, make sure to have a tornado action plan in place. And yeah, this will probably be the last video for a couple of days as the severe weather threat continues to dwindle after this. But if we do happen to get a slight risk or even an enhanced risk, which I could see an enhanced risk going in the very southern part of Louisiana, maybe right down here where we saw some of those reds in the significant tornado perimeter, that's where you could expect. But basically, if you're anywhere in this green shaded or the yellow shaded, make sure you have a tornado action plan in place just in case if there is anything happening, and make sure to have those alerts on your phone or whatever device you have. But that's really all I have for this video. So if you guys did enjoy this video, and if you guys would like to see more content related to weather, then always make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to never miss another upload. And without further ado, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.